Admiral Sarah Chen stared at the quantum readings flooding her holographic display aboard the International Space Defense Command Station. The anomalies had appeared suddenly. 17 massive objects decelerating from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. First contact was about to begin, and humanity had been preparing for this moment for over a century. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The command center hummed with controlled urgency as her crew processed the incoming data. "Objects maintain their trajectory toward Earth, Admiral. Size estimates indicate vessels between 2 to 15 kilometers in length. Energy readings are off the charts," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the haptic interface. Chen nodded, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. The aliens likely expected to find a primitive civilization. They'd soon learn otherwise. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Send the welcome package." The welcome package was anything but welcoming. For decades, humanity had maintained the appearance of being less advanced than they truly were. Radio signals, visible satellites, and space debris created a carefully crafted illusion of a civilization just beginning to reach for the stars. In reality, Earth's defenses were far more sophisticated. The alien fleet approached with the confidence of technological superiority. Their first transmission came as expected. Demands for surrender and submission to their authority. The message was broadcast worldwide, translated into all major languages. "People of Earth, we are the collective. Your planet now falls under our protection and authority. Resist and face extinction. Submit and survive as our subjects." Admiral Chen waited exactly 30 seconds before responding, not with words, but with action. At her command, thousands of quantum-masked defense platforms emerged from their hiding places throughout the solar system. Each one had been disguised as space debris or defunct satellites, a clever deception maintained for years in preparation for this moment. "Let's show them how humans say hello," Chen announced. "Execute Operation Trojan Horse." The alien fleet's superior sensors never detected the nanite swarms approaching their ships, microscopic machines designed to infiltrate and analyze their technology. Meanwhile, Earth's apparent defensive response appeared primitive. Missiles, railguns, and electronic warfare that any advanced civilization would easily defeat. The collected ships easily swatted away these attacks, exactly as planned. Their confidence grew with each successful defense, never realizing they were being studied, analyzed, and understood with every interaction. "They're deploying ground forces," Rodriguez reported. "Dropships entering atmosphere over major cities." Chen's smile widened. "Perfect. Initiate Phase 2. Let's show them why you should never underestimate humans." The alien dropships encountered no resistance as they descended. Another carefully orchestrated deception. Instead of military forces, they found empty cities. Humanity had prepared evacuation protocols decades in advance, moving populations to underground arcologies and hardened shelters at the first sign of the alien approach. What the collected forces found instead were cities filled with traps, autonomous defense systems, and swarms of combat drones disguised as civilian infrastructure. Every streetlight concealed a weapon. Every abandoned vehicle contained explosives. Every communications network was a trap waiting to be sprung. The alien commander's frustration was evident in their next transmission. "Your primitive defenses cannot harm us. Submit now, or we will demonstrate our true power." Admiral Chen's response was simple. "We understand you believe you're superior. That's exactly why you're going to lose." As if on cue, the nanite swarms completed their analysis. Earth's quantum computers had mapped every weakness, every vulnerability in the alien fleet's technology. The knowledge gained would prove devastating in the coming conflict. "All units, commence Operation Pandora," Chen ordered. "Show them what humanity can really do." The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as the day humanity proved they were far more dangerous than anyone, including themselves, had imagined. The collective had arrived expecting to find prey, only to discover they had walked into a trap centuries in the making. First contact had gone wrong indeed. For the aliens, Supreme Commander Vexthor of the collective fleet watched in disbelief as another battlecruiser went dark. No explosions, no damage reports. The ship simply ceased all communications and drifted off course. It was the seventh vessel lost this way in as many days. Analysis, he demanded, his crystalline exoskeleton crackling with stress. Unknown, Commander, his science officer replied. Like the others, all systems were functioning normally until they weren't. Our scans detect no damage, no energy weapons, no conventional attacks. The human resistance defied all military logic. Instead of massing their forces for decisive battles, they struck from shadows with weapons that left no trace. Their tactics seemed random, unpredictable, yet devastatingly effective. A holographic display showed Earth's surface, vast areas now appearing empty of human life. The collective's ground forces reported finding abandoned cities, but sensors indicated massive energy signatures deep underground. The humans had gone to ground, literally, in vast subterranean complexes that somehow evaded detailed scanning. Commander, his tactical officer interrupted, we've detected something unusual in the debris field around their planet. The image zoomed in on what appeared to be a defunct satellite. As they watched, it suddenly split apart, revealing swarms of microscopic machines that attached themselves to nearby collective ships. Before anyone could react, the affected vessels reported critical system failures. Impossible, Vexthor muttered. Their technology level couldn't possibly. His words were cut short by a new transmission, this one coming from within his own flagship. Every screen, every holographic display suddenly showed the same image. A human female in a military uniform. Greetings, Commander Vexthor. Admiral Chen spoke calmly. I trust you're beginning to understand your situation. Your ships are compromised. Your ground forces are trapped. Your superior technology has become your greatest weakness. How dare you? Vexthor raged. We are the collective. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. And that's precisely why you'll lose, Chen replied. You rely too heavily on your advanced technology. But humans, we prepare for everything. We've spent centuries imagining ways to fight superior forces. Every piece of science fiction, every war game, every military exercise, all of it was preparation for this moment. The transmission ended, leaving Vexthor to contemplate her words. His sensors reported 3 more ships going dark, their crews evacuating in lifeboats. The humans weren't killing their enemies. They were simply rendering their technology useless. Sir, his tactical officer's voice shook slightly. We're detecting quantum fluctuations throughout the fleet. Some kind of infection is spreading through our neural networks. Vexthor realized too late what the humans had done. They hadn't just prepared for this war. They had been actively fighting it since the moment the collective arrived. Every engagement, every scan, every communication had been an opportunity for them to study and infiltrate collective systems. The humans weren't just surviving. They were systematically dismantling the most powerful fleet in known space, using weapons that shouldn't have existed. Their apparent primitive technology had been a masterful deception, hiding capabilities that rivaled or exceeded the collective's own. As Vexthor watched his mighty fleet being reduced to powerless hulks by an invisible enemy, he finally understood the truth. Humans weren't prey. They were predators who had perfected the art of appearing harmless until it was too late. The collective consciousness pulsed with confusion as it processed the battle reports from Earth. For the first time in its million-year existence, the vast neural network connecting all collective members experienced something alien to its nature: doubt. Through countless conquests, the pattern had always been the same. Superior technology led to inevitable victory. Resistance, when it occurred, followed predictable patterns. But humans defied all known models of behavior. The consciousness probed the memories of its commanders, analyzing every encounter. In one sector, humans had turned their own atmosphere into a weapon. seeding clouds with nanites that invaded collective ships through their air recycling systems. In another, they had weaponized their planet's magnetic field, creating electromagnetic pulses that seemed to target specific frequencies used by collective technology. Most disturbing was their psychological warfare. The humans had somehow accessed the collective's neural network, broadcasting images and sounds that resonated with deep-seated racial memories. Ancient predators from the collective's homeworld, long extinct, appeared in their dreams. Songs that sparked primal fears echoed through their communications. Query: how do they know our fears? The consciousness broadcast to its members. Analysis: impossible without deep understanding of our species. The answer came from an unexpected source: the collective's own historical databases. Humans had been studying the stars for centuries, broadcasting their imagination into space. What the collective had dismissed as primitive entertainment, their science fiction, now revealed itself as a vast library of warfare scenarios, each one theorizing how to defeat a technologically superior enemy. They had prepared not just technologically, but psychologically. Every story, every simulation, every game had trained them to face this exact situation. While the collective had relied on overwhelming force, humans had spent generations imaging how to be the underdog and win. New data, human military archives accessed, the consciousness announced to its members. Historical analysis reveals pattern. Humans consistently violate optimal military doctrine. Example: Operation Desert Storm, deliberately revealed false primary attack vector. Example: D-Day invasion, created phantom army to deceive enemy. Example: current conflict, apparent technological regression concealed advanced capabilities. The collective struggled to process this information. Their entire military doctrine was based on efficiency and overwhelming force. Humans, in contrast, seemed to delight in inefficient solutions that somehow proved devastatingly effective. More disturbing was the human concept of winning. The collective defined victory as the complete submission of an enemy. Humans had hundreds of definitions of victory, many of which didn't require defeating their opponent, only surviving them. Critical realization: the consciousness broadcast. Humans are not fighting to win by our definition. They are fighting to make victory too costly to pursue. Through the neural network, the collective experienced something unprecedented. A species that had turned its own fragmented nature into a strength. Each human fought independently, creating endless variations of strategy that the collective's unified consciousness struggled to predict. Observation: humans appear to be enjoying this conflict, the consciousness noted with growing alarm. They are not merely defending. They are testing theories, gathering data, learning. The truth finally resonated through the entire collective. They hadn't found a new species to conquer. They had awakened a sleeping giant that had spent its entire history preparing for this moment. Every human technological advancement, every war, every story of alien invasion had been training for this confrontation. And now, facing their greatest challenge, humans were proving to be far more dangerous than their technology suggested. They weren't just fighting back. They were evolving their tactics in real time, turning the collective's every advantage into a weakness. The hive mind reached a chilling conclusion. Perhaps for the first time in its history, the collective needed to consider retreat. Admiral Chen stood before the holographic war room deep within humanity's underground command center, watching as thousands of data points converged into a pattern only she and her team could see. What appeared to the collective as random, desperate attacks was actually an intricately choreographed dance of cause and effect. Phase 3 is ready, Dr. Maya Patel, head of Project Butterfly, announced. Her quantum computers had been modeling the cascade of events that would follow each human action, predicting how the highly logical collective would respond. Every probe, every skirmish, every retreat has fed data into our models. We understand how they think now. The massive display showed the positions of collective ships, each one compromised in ways their enemies hadn't yet discovered. Nanite swarms had mapped their neural networks. Quantum viruses lay dormant in their systems. Even their victories had been carefully orchestrated to reinforce their assumptions about human capabilities. "Begin the convergence," Chen ordered. "Show me what chaos theory looks like in practice." Across the solar system, seemingly unrelated events began to unfold. A disabled satellite drifted into the path of a collective cruiser, forcing a minor course correction. A solar flare, precisely predicted and timed, caused another ship to adjust its shields. Dozens of small factors, each insignificant alone, began herding the alien fleet into position. "They're responding exactly as modeled," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. "The collective's hive mind is actually working against them. Their desire for optimal positioning is making their movements predictable." Chen nodded. "Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to see patterns in chaos and create chaos in patterns." Launch Operation Butterfly. Throughout the solar system, dormant systems activated. Quantum entangled particles, secretly embedded in collective ships during previous engagements, synchronized. The nanite swarms that had been mapping alien technology now began to reprogram it. The collective's response was immediate but futile. Their unified consciousness, which had been their greatest advantage in previous conquests, became their critical weakness. As their neural network tried to compensate for the cascading failures, it spread the infection faster than any quarantine could contain. "Their hive mind is experiencing a feedback loop," Dr. Puddle reported with clinical detachment. "Every attempt to solve one problem creates 3 more. It's the technological equivalent of an autoimmune response. Their own defense systems are attacking them." Chen watched as the mighty collective fleet began to fracture. Ships lost contact with the hive mind, their crews suddenly forced to think as individuals for the first time in generations. Others found their weapon systems targeting their allies, the complex friend or foe protocols corrupted by quantum-level changes. "Send the message," Chen commanded. "Let's see if they're ready to talk." The transmission was broadcast on all frequencies, in a format the collective couldn't ignore. "Your technology is compromised. Your neural network is infected. Every second you remain in our solar system, you lose more control. But we're not interested in destruction. We prefer to teach lessons that won't be forgotten. You have 1 hour to retreat beyond the Kuiper Belt. After that, we cannot guarantee your ability to do so." The beauty of Operation Chaos Theory lay in its elegant simplicity. Humanity hadn't needed to destroy the collective's superior technology. They had simply introduced enough variables to make it unreliable. Like a butterfly's wings causing a hurricane, small changes had cascaded into system-wide failure. As the hour countdown began, Chen reflected on humanity's unique path to this moment. While other species had evolved through optimization and conformity, humans had thrived on adaptation and diversity. Their strength wasn't in overwhelming force, but in finding unexpected solutions to impossible problems. The collective had never stood a chance. They had expected a conventional war, but humans had turned the entire solar system into a vast chessboard where every move had been planned dozens of steps in advance. Their apparent chaos had been the most carefully orchestrated strategy in human military history. As the final hour ticked away, the collective's response came not as a retreat or an attack, but as something unprecedented in their history, a request for dialogue. The vast hive mind had reached a startling conclusion. Humans were not merely worthy adversaries, they were something entirely new in the galaxy. Admiral Chen sat in the newly materialized quantum conference room, facing holographic representations of the collective's leadership. The aliens' crystalline forms shimmered with nervous energy as they confronted a species that had done the impossible, turned their own technological superiority against them. "We do not understand," the collective's primary consciousness transmitted. "Your species should not be capable of this level of advancement. Our scans showed primitive technology, limited space presence." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "That's because you were looking for advancement along a linear path. Humans don't work that way. We leap forward in unexpected directions, often skipping what others would consider necessary steps. The quantum displays around them showed the true extent of human innovation. While other species had developed technology in predictable stages, mastering faster than light travel before attempting quantum computing, for example, humans had pursued thousands of different paths simultaneously. They had developed quantum entanglement communications before colonizing their own moon, created nanite swarms while still burning fossil fuels. Your victory was not achieved through superior firepower. The collective observed. You turned our own complexity against us. Each system we deployed gave you another vector of attack. Humans have a saying, Chen replied. The more complex the system, the more ways it can fail. We didn't need to match your technology. We just needed to understand it well enough to introduce chaos into your order. The holographic representations flickered as the collective processed this concept. Their entire civilization was built on principles of unity, consistency, and predictability. Humans, in contrast, seemed to thrive on variance and adaptation. We came to conquer, the collective admitted. Instead, we find ourselves learning. Your species' approach to warfare, to technology, to existence itself, it defies our understanding of universal constants. Chen leaned forward. Then perhaps it's time for a different kind of relationship. You've seen what humans can do when threatened. Would you like to see what we can accomplish as allies? The proposal sent ripples through the collective consciousness. The idea of alliance rather than conquest was foreign to them, but they couldn't deny the potential. Humanity's chaotic innovation, combined with their own ordered advancement, could open up entirely new realms of possibility. How can we trust that you won't use our own systems against us again? The collective asked. The same way we'll trust that you won't attempt another invasion, Chen responded. Through understanding. You've learned that humans are too dangerous to fight. We've learned that the collective's technology could help us reach heights we've only dreamed of. Together, we could be something greater than either of us alone. The quantum conference room hummed with energy as the agreement took shape. The collective would share their advanced technology, while humans would teach them about innovation, adaptation, and thinking outside normal parameters. It was an unprecedented arrangement in galactic history, not submission or conquest, but true collaboration. As the formal alliance was recorded, Admiral Chen reflected on humanity's journey to this moment. They had turned their greatest perceived weaknesses, their diversity, their unpredictability, their tendency to find unusual solutions, into their greatest strengths. The very chaos that the collective had seen as primitive had proven to be the most sophisticated strategy of all. The day the collective came to conquer Earth became instead the day humanity proved they were ready to take their place among the stars, not through overwhelming force or superior technology, but through the uniquely human traits of innovation, adaptability, and the ability to turn apparent disadvantages into unexpected victories. As the quantum conference concluded, a new chapter in human history began. The species that had spent centuries preparing for war now turned their incredible capacity for innovation toward a greater purpose, showing the galaxy that sometimes the most powerful force isn't the ability to destroy, but the creativity to find better solutions.